Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And also, thank you very much, Professor Okebukola, for the presentation and for all the facts that you gave to us around quality assurance and how to develop our training platforms. It is a great pleasure of mine to be here once again to facilitate. Today's topic really is around quality management systems, quality assurance, quality control, and quality assurance framework for learning, training, and development. I'm going to share with you the topics for today, the areas of focus. We know some of these things that we are going to talk about today are areas that we have worked within. So really it's about sharing of practice. It's about sharing of experience, and it's also about reiterating areas that we need to revisit in our various MDIs. So the topics that we'll be looking at, like I said, is quality management system, which one of our colleagues already talked about today, quality assurance, quality control. We are going to look at the role of an internal quality assurance applicable to the training cycle. That's one of the things that was also mentioned today. So like I said, we're just going to reiterate. We're going to look at quality assurance within and the role of team in a training organization. We'll look at a framework as well. Then finally, I will share an experience with you of working, headhunted to work in an organization in the UAE within the quality department, just so that there's a context to some of the discussions that we're going to talk about today. And then finally, we're going to revisit the role of CEOs and director generals in offering pragmatic leadership. So it's leadership that supports entrenching quality assurance in all of the areas of our services, products and services. Okay. Let's look at quality management system. Let's just have a working definition. We're using Wikipedia. I know academics normally do not want us to use Wikipedia. They think it's unreliable. But for the purpose of what we are doing today, we're going to take a definition from Wikipedia, where quality management system is seen as a collection of business processes, and it's focused on consistently meeting customer requirements and enhancing services for satisfaction. You must remember that quality management system is aligned with an organizational purpose and strategic direction. So really what we are saying here is we need to be clear in our minds around what our purpose is, what our strategic direction is, and based on that, we can formulate a quality management system. Now, in terms of how this is expressed, it's usually around the goals and aspirations of the organization. And it is presented in form of policies, processes, all of this well documented and shared with stakeholders and workforce. Sometimes within quality management system, you have quality assurance and you have quality control. Some people consider both as almost the same. Others see this as things that are totally different. Before we go into talking about quality control and quality assurance, I'd like to say that this session, I'd like it to be as interactive as possible, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So please use the meeting chat, interrupt if you feel the need to, so that we are all, it's not a facilitator-led session. It's a session where we are all expressing our views and beliefs based on our experiences. There's a lot of experience we can tell in the forum today. So let's look then at what is quality assurance and what is quality control. So what we have decided to do is a bit of activity using voting buttons. So we're just going to, okay, what is it? Are they the same thing? What can we associate with quality assurance? And what can we associate with quality control? Now, to enable us to do that, what I'd like everyone to do, if it's possible, is use your mobile device and type in slido.com, or If you focus the camera of your phone on this QR code, then you click on the link, it will take you to slido.com. Can I ask our distinguished ladies and gentlemen to please enable this activity to take place by, like I said, go to your mobile device or use this QR code. Yeah, this one. Yeah. So go to slido.com or use this QR code and then put this code 350606. Okay, there's a question that will pop up, which is what you can see here. What words or phrases would you associate with quality assurance and quality control? Can I ask if everyone can see it, please? If you can, just indicate in the meeting chat. We're doing a quick poll, just words. So for example, I've put improvement. Those are some words or a word that you could associate with quality assurance and quality control. I'm just going to check responses in the meeting chat just to confirm that you cannot see it. Yeah. Doctor, can you see it? You are on mute. Yes, can you see the slide? The activity poll.
Okay, do you want to give us a code to go into that?
Yes, so what you want to do is focus your camera on your smart device on the QR code. Then click on join. Then it will ask you for a code. The code is 350606. And the question that will pop up is, what words or phrases would you associate with quality assurance and quality control?
Let's confirm whether our participants are with us. Hello, Sars and Mars. Let's be sure that they are following us.
Are we expected to answer?
Yes, just use so what you are doing, can you all see it?
Yes.
Okay, so what you are just expected to do is...
I'm using my phone, but the code, it's not responding. It cannot receive it.
Please, the code is #350606. You have to click slido.com first.
Yeah.
Slido.com. Then it will ask you join Slido activities. Then you join. Yeah. Okay. Somebody.
Yeah.
Has,
good. So it seems it's working. Thank you.
I think the question is, what comes to mind when we speak of quality assurance? Is that what it is?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. What comes to mind?
Okay. So from the top of my head, I could say genuine perfection.
Okay. So can you type it on your phone, please? Where can you see the question? Are you on slido.com? The reason why I'm saying this is because as anybody that puts in an answer, it comes up on the screen. Well, what we're trying to do is to incorporate a little bit of technology, some of the things that we can also do when we are doing our training session. So maintenance of standards, thank you. Maintaining consistency, perfect. Improvement is coming up here, perfect work. So there, yes, those ideas are coming. Thank you very much. Standards, well done. Yeah. Yes. So there's also, somebody has also put here, it's about management. The reason why we are using this approach, like I said, is also, just to show some sharp activities you can do with your trainers and trainees.
If we send on our phone, would it come to you?
Yes, it's showing on the screen. You should. Can you not see it? You should see it.
No, but I'm using my phone.
Yes, you can see it. Even when you are using your phone. Join slido.com.
Yes.
Then once you join slido.com, pick the number.
You can send the answer.
Yes, put your answer, Ma. What is she put now?
Mrs. Akemi, we can hear you.
So far, you're gone, sir.
Once you type in your answer, it will show on the screen.
Yeah. So we've got maintenance of standard, perfect work, improvement, processes and procedures. Yes, improvement, perfect work, consistent. Yeah. Yeah. Just a few more minutes, just 2 more minutes. Just 2 more minutes. Then we will also compare what we have on the screen here with other words that we think should be associated with QA and QC. Customer focus, yes, thank you. Reliability, absolutely. Two more minutes, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good. Predictability, good. Compliance, absolutely. We've also got customer focus here. Output. Yeah, there's a lot about perfection. There's a lot about standards. There's a lot about process and procedures, reliability. Okay, I think we're going to stop now. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing and then go back to the slides. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, can you all see my slide? Yes? Okay, so let's look at quality assurance versus quality control. Obviously, they are all within the quality management frameworks, but there are some differences. With quality assurance, we are looking at process-oriented, but your quality control is product. Quality assurance is looking at the process, but quality control is about the final product and the orientation. Quality assurance looks at how you prevent defection, as against quality control, where is the process of identification. So early identification of defects, either in your service or in your product. Quality assurance is a proactive approach. Something that you start right from the beginning and you are proactive about it. You already envisage there are some things that may go wrong. It's about envisaging things that may go wrong and ensuring that you've got a plan in place to stop this from happening. But our approach to quality control is reactive. It has already happened. So you are not going back to correct it, as against if you have an approach in place before it takes place. Sorry about that. Quality assurance is a managerial tool. So it's something that must originate from management. And we're going to look at the role of management as we go along. Quality control is a corrective tool. Don't forget, it's already happened. Therefore, we look at how we are going to correct the anomalies. Quality assurance, looks, it's everyone's responsibility at the end of the day. It's a managerial tool, but everyone is or should be committed to quality assurance. Quality control is specific because we are looking at how we will rectify defects. Please put your comments as we go along if there's anything that comes to mind. So we did say that quality assurance and quality control is all on, it comes within quality management system. Let's now look at the principles then. What are the principles of quality management system? It is customer focused, like it was identified when we did that quick Slido activity. It involves the commitment of leadership. It involves leaders really setting the pace and the trend for others to follow. Although we did say that quality assurance is everyone's responsibility, but really the leaders, people like who are in today's webinar, really are the ones who are responsible for rolling this out. Quality management is engagement of people. It looks at process. It's about improvement. It's about evidence-based decision-making. So you keep your data and then you make decisions based on the evidence. And it is relationship management because it's something that involves everyone, every member of staff. Therefore, it's about relationship. It's about departments working closely. It's all of those things in place to make that happen. Okay, so we know already that quality assurance, quality management system is already happening within your MDIs and the various other organizations. The question that we're going to ask you is, within the quality department, some people call it the quality department, some call it institutional effectiveness. It depends on how it is classified in your organization. What role would you assign to somebody who is the custodian of quality, somebody who is the quality nominee in your organization? What sort of roles and responsibility? So for this, it's a chart that we would have. It could be voice chart. It could also be the use of the meeting charts. So basically, what we are expected to do here is just to pause. Let's reflect 10 minutes. So we're going to put the timer on for 10 minutes. Yeah, where we're going to look at the role of your quality nominee. What sort of things have you assigned them, or are they doing now, or you intend to assign them in the future? Okay, so if you want to, you can speak up. Otherwise, if you choose to want to use the meeting chat, that's fine. I'll read it out. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. If we could just spend 5-10 minutes just to reflect on how this is done within our organization.
Sir, can I come in?
Please do, sir.
Yeah, I am looking at it like an internal audit in an organization where the principle could be either you do pre or post audit. When you do the pre, you tend to avoid the incidents of any misfortune or things that you don't want to happen. Yeah. But when you do the post, it will have happened, so you have to attend to that specific happening.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know whether it.
Oh yeah, that's fine. So what you have identified here is there is quality assurance and quality control within the organization. Yeah. So the pre is just ensuring that there is principles, there are clear guidelines on how quality assurance is implemented. And the post, which is your quality control, is when it has happened, it's now going back to retrace our steps and to make corrective measures.
Precisely.
Am I correct?
That's right.
Yes, thank you. So the role, what you are saying to us here is you're a member of your staff within the quality department. We do a lot of audit, and the audit is going to be based on pre and post. Yes? Thank you very much, sir, for that. Any others, please?
Yeah, hello, can I talk?
Yes, sir.
Okay. His role can be just to audit the process,
Okay.
audit the outcome or the product, and also audit the resources or the input. And also is also to carry out inspections of all this. So I don't know whether that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's what is happening within your organization, and from what you are saying here too is the role of the quality person is around auditing the process, the procedure, and also on inspection. Yes, that's fine. So we've got that in place. Any others, please?
Yes, I think still looking at
hand
it.
up.
Yes, still looking at it from that perspective, we can take it around the product itself. Of course, the processes would have improved earlier, but part of the major concern, I think, of an internal quality assurer is the assurance of the content that will be delivered.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by this is that organizations must have standard content details. That is one that must be sent out to participants. Apart from that, for my organization, part of internal control work is to see that as minute as it is, that our slides must follow a certain quality. The look and feel of the slides, the sizes as minimal as that, the sizes of your title and your body, what is the number of bullets that could be on a typical slide, and how less wordy it can be. This could also be a critical part of what an internal quality assurer would do, so that at every point in time, you present a consistent approach to your service delivery, apart from looking at the things that are within the organization and the post, as had earlier been stated. That's I think.
Thank you very much, sir. I quite agree with what you have also stated here, particularly around consistency. So there are great things, big things, major things that we do with quality assurance. But you've also broken it down into very minute things that can also take place. For example, you've said something as basic as your presentation in terms of your slide size, your logo, all of those things is also the role of the internal quality assurer within your organization in order to ensure that standards are met and content is looked into to represent the interest of the organization. Yes, I agree with you also that that's the role of an internal quality assurance assurer. Can we take just one more, please? Thank you very much, everyone. One more. Dr. Olowe, do you want to share with us your quality assurance function and what you would allocate someone within that area?
I prefer my chief executives who are participating to share their own experience with us, so that we can all benefit from each other. The last, the acting DG of PSSDC just said something now, that even as minute as the number of bullets that it can be on a slide, this may be an area that many of us may not be taking note of. So it's as good as that one. I think I will call on my other chief executives who are there to please make input. The DG of MDI, the Gambia, Mrs. Fatu, can you share with us, please? Mrs. Fatuma? Mrs. Fatu?
Yes, I was trying to unmute.
Okay. Please, can you share with us?
Good morning or afternoon in Nigeria.
Okay, afternoon now.
Yes, actually, we have a quality assurance committee that looks at improvement of teaching and learning. It's a whole process aspect. And what we regularly meet. Part of our role is to carry out evaluations on the lecturers in terms of their teaching, looking at the attendance, the knowledge gap or the knowledge competency. We look at whether they're meeting the satisfaction of our students. And also part of our role would be from time to time to go in and observe the lecturers while they teach. So those are some of the roles that we carry out. And of course, when we do the evaluations or the observations, we give out feedback to the lecturers for improvement. We also look at the facilities that are needed and make a report to the management in terms of providing the teaching and learning aids. So those are some of the responsibilities that we carry out at the Quality Assurance Committee. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Just to summarize what you've just said, your area of focus really is ensuring that you meet customer needs. And within doing that, you do some teacher observation to ensure that teaching and learning is really to the standard that is required. You also talked about evaluation so that you can gather the intelligence to move things forward. And you finally talked about feedback again. And that's also an aspect of quality assurance. Thank you very much, Ma. Now, what I'd like us to do is to have a quick look as a summary slide on the expected roles of internal quality assurance. So it's some of the things we have identified here, and maybe one or two that's a little bit more. Let's see if this is something that you can relate to, particularly within your organization. Okay, so the expected roles here, we are saying as a minimum, a quality nominee within your organization will be given the role to plan what you are going to monitor. So it could be, what process is it we are monitoring? Are we going to observe teachers or trainers it has been identified? If so, who and when? So as a very bare minimum, and you would want to allocate the role of planning to your IQA. We've talked about observation. It was identified that this does take place within your organization. Yes, indeed, observation is part of the role of an IQA. So observation of trainers, also looking at the output. Output was also identified today, looking at output to see if it's delivered at the right standard and if the work that is produced meets the requirement. If it's an organization where teaching, learning, and assessment is happening, an IQA will be expected to agree assessment decisions. So what we are saying here is the facilitator or the trainer would have done an assessment, and then it will be the role of the IQA to agree that assessment decision. And also look at trainer records, look at learner work, make sure that things are at the right, again, I keep using the word as at the right standards. Sometimes IQAs are expected to make trainees, so your internal quality assurance, you will give them the role of also speaking to the students that are being, I'm using the word students or learners or trainees that are being trained, just to have a feel of what their journey within your organization has been about, because within quality assurance, customer service is very important. And the only way you can find this out is when, there's an emphasis on that and it's being looked through by the IQA. We've talked about standardization in this training and the previous one, so we know that before things happen, good standardization takes place where there's an agreement on what we are going to accept as standards and what to do if things don't go as planned. So standardization certainly is a role of an IQA. And then generally speaking, the IQA will be somebody who can support trainers, who can support assessors, who can support facilitators. So really and truly, there's also support that is as a part of the role of an IQA. Is there any questions so far? Is there any contributions you want me to carry on? Okay, now let us look at quality assurance framework. Let's look at the framework, then the framework that will enable us put together our policies, because all of these things that we've been talking about, the role, quality assurance, quality control, if there's no framework, then it's difficult for us to enforce. It's difficult for us to sell. So basically, our quality assurance framework generally should be something that will be a robust process. A robust process that underpins our activities. So for example, let's use teaching, learning, and training as the service that we're talking about. So it will be a document that supports our training so that it is robust. The framework, if it's one that needs to be put together, should involve all aspects of delivery. It should all aspects of delivery. It should look at programs. It should look at qualification of trainers, and it should look at experience of trainers. So it's all of those things that should form the basis of our framework. All our quality related processes should be reviewed regularly. And this is where our commitment to continuous improvement or continuous enhancement happens. Finally, in order to put our framework together, the quality of programs and application of quality assurance process is measured. We must make sure that we compare it to organizational key performance indicator. So definitely what we are saying here is we should have some key indicators that is set at strategic level. And within these key indicators, we expect that our framework allows these to be measured. Okay, so within learning, training, and development, we need to, we're focusing on that because a lot of us today here we work within learning, training, and development. We want to look at quality frameworks, particularly for this sort of organization. We're looking at framework that ensures that the programs that are being delivered are fit for purpose. We've talked about that in the first meeting we had in the morning, ensuring that we are not just putting programs in place that may be meaningless, that our wider community may not necessarily be interested in. We should ensure that we are putting programs together that are demand-led. Also, within LTD, we must ensure that the programs that we put together provide maximum benefit to the learner and to the organization. So it's a two-way thing. There's a symbiotic relationship here between the learner and the organization. So it must be, it is good, it's advisable for it to be mutually beneficial to both parties. Our LTD framework, quality framework, should be such that supports the principles behind. So we must be very clear about the principles of our framework right from the beginning. And then there should be clarity around who is doing what. So those are some of the things that we must consider when we are putting together a framework. Just to remind us, we've covered this previously and it resonates with what the doctor said in the morning. He mentioned the quality training cycle. He talked about the training cycle. So when we are putting together our quality cycle, we must always look at the training cycle. We did talk a lot about identifying learning needs, where one of our colleagues said, sometimes you put together a program and nobody comes to look at it. So what we are saying here is within your quality department and within also the roles and responsibility of your quality nominee, you would have somebody who will be able to identify the learning needs of your wider community. And based off a true reflection and identification of your learning needs, you'll be able to design the right program. You will use the correct or a delivery model that is fit for the purpose and that is conducive to learners at that particular time. We talked a lot about online delivery, blended delivery, all those tools that helps to enhance delivery is something that is considered at stage 3 within the training cycle. Evaluation is key because from evaluation, you can also identify whether the initial training was a successful one or not. So within the training cycle, we must ensure that we are incorporating quality assurance methodology. This is just a reminder because we've been talking about it, but I just felt it was good to mention this once again. Before we look at the documents, I think what I'd like to do is to share an experience with you from working in the UAE, where I was seconded from the UK to work in Abu Dhabi, Emirates, in an organization called ACTVET. ACTVET is Abu Dhabi Center for Technical and Vocational Education. This organization was established by the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. And the sole purpose of ACTVET, so if we're looking at our framework, is first and foremost the organization and the purpose. So the sole purpose of this organization till now is to establish policies and standards that effectively regulate technical vocational educational institutions in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. So that's the organization, that's the purpose. Now, in terms of ACTVET framework, so they have a common framework that is well shared and made available to all stakeholders. Their framework was designed to ensure transparency and consistency. So very transparent, very honest, and it's also about consistency within all the training, all organizations where training, vocational training happens. So that's where the quality framework came about. Within the quality department where I worked, where I was seconded to roll out their quality assurance processes, was to ensure that all organizations conform to ISO 9001, which was one of the things that was interestingly mentioned today. You don't necessarily have to import an organization to roll out ISO 9001 for you. You could use the framework at an initial stage to direct your quality assurance mechanism. So very similar to what has been identified by distinguished ladies and gentlemen today around the roles and responsibilities that you would allocate a quality nominee within your organization. I'll share with you what ACTVET had in place. So it was about performance. So really, and conducting audits like most of us identified, conducting quality assurance and risk register. I could remember one of the things that I helped to roll out was to ensure we put together a risk register of all trainers who were not certified, and we gave them time frame within which to obtain the qualification. So within ACTVET, for example, they had a risk register, and then they conducted regular risk analysis of all their departments. Within ACTVET, a nominated quality person was responsible to administer customer service, looked at the needs of stakeholders, carried out surveys. Funny enough, that was one thing that wasn't mentioned when we had our quick chat around what you would allocate to a member of staff. Certainly, survey is one because it enables us to not just obtain feedback, it also enables us to be able to RAG rate. That is, RAG rate your departments, organizations, whether it's red, amber, or green, and that comes from the survey that you carry out. Within adverts, quality assurance, ISO we said, and also they ensure that the quality management systems were well established, were well implemented and maintained. I think that resonates with what we have talked about today. Obviously, there are reasons why we think that organizations should start to look at quality assurance at very high level. There's so many reasons why we feel it is time now to improve the visibility of your quality department in organizations that you represent. One is about reduction of waste. Profit maximization, if it's is after profit. Not a lot of organizations are, but mainly is to reduce waste. It's about consistency in implementation of policies. So it's about understanding, implementation of policies and standards. And most importantly, it's about your image and reputation, your reputation and what you stand for. It's just ensuring if there's consistency, there's policies, there's standards, there's visibility, obviously our reputation will soar, and that is really where we want to be. Also, we want to be able to benchmark against international organizations, and we also want to be recognized that we are indeed working at par with organizations that carry out the same sort of activities that we do. Also, it's about realignment and alignment of standards. Right, so we have identified, we've used adverts as a case study around their quality assurance, the roles, and also their framework. Generally speaking, here in the UK, where we also offer consultancy, and in United Arab Emirates, there are some staffing requirements and recommendations for people who are involved in quality assurance. What we are saying here, and what we are suggesting, what we are bringing to the fore is that your assessors or your facilitators are qualified in the subject area. So we refer to them as subject matter experts. Your assessors and facilitators are subject matter experts in the area that you want to assign them to look into. Also, remember, we talked about internal quality assurer today. It should be somebody who is occupationally competent. So for example, you cannot, or you should not contemplate bringing somebody from customer service to be an IQA for engineering program. It's about experience and occupational competence. So that's one thing to bear in mind in terms of staffing requirements, particularly when you are involved in training, learning, and development. Assessors are involved, and certainly internal quality assurance. Then you have a lead IQA. A lead IQA will be somebody who manages a team of IQAs. So let's say within your organization, you have identified 4 IQAs. Then you probably want to also identify one person who will be a lead. And this person really will be responsible for managing the roles and responsibilities and having regular meetings with the IQAs within your organization. Okay, we are going to stop for now and try a quick reflection in a breakout room. A lot of us have joined from different parts of West Africa and also from the UK and other parts. We will be assigned rooms. We are going to meet virtually in rooms, and within the rooms that we are going to meet, we are going to share our wealth of experience. So what we are doing here is really just reflecting. One, have we got a quality department within our organization? Who is doing what? What are we going to do differently? Just a quick, because of the experience and expertise of people in the room here, it will be a shame not to take the opportunity of having that reflection. So what we are going to do now is a breakout room where you will meet with somebody virtually. The computer is going to do that for us. And really it's just to reflect, and then 10 minutes, and then we will come back and just summarize our discussion. So just to remind you, in the breakout room, it's a reflection of how quality assurance is happening within your organization and what you will do differently. Okay, we're going to activate the breakout room now.
Thank you.
We want you to share your experience with us on how your quality assurance committee or group is functioning in your place of work, sir.
Yeah, actually, in our institution, actually, we started liaising with the what they call the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, for the implementation of ISO 9001-2015. So the first stage was to train some of our staff or some of the team or units regarded as a quality assurance team, which they give them the training on QMS. Sorry, hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, so they give us a training on QMS, Quality Management System Implementations. Thereafter, we develop SOP for all the departments, and then we later on go for auditor's course. After the auditor's course, we are then able to audit our own departments to see whether they are complying with the quality management system we are implementing in the organizations. So we also go to the next stage, that's quality auditors, lead auditors course, which also is the next step, and that we are also reinforcing the quality management assurance within the organizations. All this in terms of SOP, that's standard operating procedure for each departments and unit. And also we establish the resources, that's the quality of the resources that the facilitators. So we make sure that, and also the facilities or equipments required for us to achieve our goal are also available. So we test our quality based on the availability of the facilities, adequacy and the competency of our resource persons, and also the standardization of our programs based in line with the international best standard or international best practice. So these are the things that we have so far been doing, but the next stage is to involve the standard organizations for they come and do the auditing by themselves. That's external auditing, which if we have met their requirement will lead us to be given with the certification of ISO 9001-2015 compliance. So these are the process we are doing for the assurance of the quality management system.
Yes, applicant, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I know the modus operandi of NIIT is more of you deal more with technical things.
Yeah.
Now, how do we cascade quality assurance to services, training in particular?
Yeah. No matter the training,
we also need to look at that. Okay. I'm quite sure you have some participants that you train. You develop modules to train them. You have classrooms to train them. You have facilitators to use to train them. So how do we also ensure quality of all these people?
Yeah, that's why we said, first of all, we established a standard. A standard in terms of the qualifications or requirements for somebody to deliver a paper or to be an instructor. And then we ensure that every staff or every resource person has complied with the standard. For instance, if you want to offer a master, if you want to teach in a master's class, then you have to have a PhD. This is one of the standards. Don't just go, we have a master's, you are coming teaching in master's class. Then secondly, we establish what you call standard curriculum. This is based on the international best practice, or we adopt maybe the best practice, and or else we establish, or I mean, we design a curriculum with using the standard process that's involving the subject matter expert and curriculum developers expert to design a standard package. Then also, in addition to that, we also do programs evaluation. That's we find out from the participants what are their feedback. For instance, we ask them what the course, whether it meets their objective or the training needs. So if there are any areas that say yes, we have not touched certain areas, it gives us a clue that okay, in our subsequent programs we'll add that to reinforce the quality or meeting the needs of our clients. So there are various techniques actually, but these are some of them that I just mentioned to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Probably Dr. Olufemi wants to share his own with us. Dr. Olufemi, sir, are you still with us? Okay. PSSDC acting digital, you want to share your own experience with us?
Well, I think with the group that we met with, FDP and AMTI, what we tried to do was to bring out all of the various measures that we adopt. Of course, for PSSDC, although we do not have a department or directorate named quality assurance, but quality assurance is done here at 2 or 3 levels, as I shared with the group. There is, first and foremost, a process manual with which we do all our work that makes detailed plans about each of the steps for any program that we run according to course and according to its schedule. Then we have also a department, a directorate indeed, of planning and research that is involved, one, in doing evaluation of programs while they are going on in class, having participants rate
I think we've lost connection.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, while waiting for him to reconnect, Mrs. Fatu, are you still with us? The Gambia.
Back. I'm back. Connection is really bad.
You are trying to connect back?
With you now, sir. Yes, I'm back with you, sir.
Okay, you are back with us. That's nice. Can you share your own experience? While you are trying to do that, I welcome on board Dr. Mrs. Olusoji of CMD. You are welcome, representing the Director General of CMD. You are welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
We appreciate you. Yes, Mrs. Fatu, we are listening to you, ma'am. Mrs. Fatu, are you back with us? Okay. If you are not, Mr. Odame Take from Ghana, are you with us, sir?
I need to use yourself.
No, I'm here.
Yes, sir. You want to share your internal quality assurance ways of doing it with us at MDPI?
Oh, okay. Same as we did in the group discussion. Yeah, we're saying that we have 5 points. One is the post-training impact assessment that we do with the client, especially those that we do for the client at their workplaces. And then we do what we call the peer review. Most of the time, a program that is running for maybe 5 days or 10 days will have multiple presenters. So after that program, we peer review ourselves and see who did what would have been there. And thirdly, we encourage participants' comments at the end of the program with a prescribed format that they are given the freedom to mention names and give us comment with regards to reception, preparation, lecturer performance or consultant performance, content, the environment, and stuff like that. We also do what we call the group captain. Every program we have, at the end of the program, we do what we call the closing ceremony. And there, a rep of the group would give an account of what has happened, where they were satisfied and where they were not satisfied. And then lastly, we do encourage participants' inputs. Most of the time, this is very informal, but we are picking up a whole lot of information from this informal arrangement, especially from our international participants. But what I learned from this discussion is that we have to get a structured arrangement in place. And so that is the assignment that I'm taking out of this presentation today, that we are going to have.
Thank you, sir.
Control, yeah.
Thank you. I'm also sure the president is still with us, Professor Oyonle, sir. Professor Oyonle. Professor Oyonle, are you still with us, sir? Professor Oyonle, are you still with us? Okay. Mrs. Fatu, do you want to share your own with us now? Professor Oyonle, are you back? Are you with us?
We're jumping.
Professor Oyonle.
Okay.
Mrs. Fatu, are you back with us now? Dr. Mrs. Olusoji, once again, you are welcome. You met us discussing the internal quality assurance you put in place in your place of work. We know CMD is saddled with the responsibility. But internally, can you share with us how you carry it out in your own place of work? Thank you. Dr. Ms. Olusoji, are you with us now?
Yes, I am, sir.
Please, can you let us share, can you share with us your own, how you go about it in CMD?
Thank you very much, sir. The way we carry out quality assurance in CMD is before the program, we know what is expected of every one of us. And what is, because we have curriculum and we know what each session is supposed to cover. So what we do is during the presentation, there are people that go around the class to see the actual action in actual things that are taking place in the classes. The presentation by the lecturer, by the facilitators, the responses of participants, and things like that. So by the time we go around, we have people that go around different classes. We have a division that is called quality assurance. It's in our accreditation department. You know, knowing fully well that, you know, we also do accreditation of trainers and institutions. So part of what we do is to ensure that things are done properly. Apart from the one we do within CMD, even when we go out on accreditation visit, especially those that are actually holding program during the period, we go to the training venue when the facilitator is making presentation. We check to see whether those things they are doing it right, apart from the one that we are doing within the CMD. And apart from looking at what is the process of delivery, we also do evaluation, just like others have been doing, by actually giving the participant the form to fill. After every session, they fill the form on how the facilitators have been able to take them through the session. They do that. And we also do post-evaluation and post-assessment. After the program, we also have a time of interacting with participants. We call it a time of wrap-up, asking them to actually bear their mind if there are things that we have not done properly and things that we need to improve upon. So those are the things that we do presently. Apart from what we do for outsider, we also check in ourselves to see whether what we are doing is normal. And then we also look at even the material to be presented to participants. We look at it to be sure that they are not too bulky and that they're actually doing what that session is supposed to present to the participants, whether it is done properly or not. And if there are issues, we point it out even before the presentation is made. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much, Ma. That was very detailed. Just for us to round up, we have some recommendations here, recommended actions really for decision makers, chief executive, policy makers, and major stakeholders. So our recommendations and suggestions following today's webinar is to prioritize all aspects of quality. The bottom line is we want to raise its profile and organizational commitments. So whatever it is that we're doing now, I think what has come out of this is there is a need to still raise organizational profile, especially around quality. We are also suggesting here that decision makers should devise policies, frameworks, and procedures for their own MDIs, if that's not already in place. If you've got it in place, we're suggesting that you review it following today's session so that you are assured of its currency. We're also suggesting here that you create quality department if there's none, or identify somebody who is going to be the quality nominee in your organization, or in other places, they call it institutional effectiveness unit. So any of those aspects, any of the functions that is directly related to quality, we are suggesting that a quality person is identified, and this person should be directed to report to the chief executive director general. So really, this person needs to report to somebody right at the top, because we want quality to be forefront. We're also saying here that this is the time to view our targets. Make sure the current targets match and it provides good benefits and reward system so that there's commitment and buy-in. We're suggesting that you implement regular internal audits to check how quality management system is working and how it's conforming to set standards. Again, we're talking about Kaizen here, commitment to continuous improvement. Train your staff, ensure that they have the right qualification and they have the right skill set. Pursue certification if possible. it's a very easy process to do, particularly pursuing certification. What I'm saying here is chief execs, everybody should be consistent in the support for quality, IQA, assessors, and facilitators. I think that brings us to the end of today's seminar. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for allowing us to present in your presence. And if there's any question, observation, this is the time to present it. Otherwise, thank you very, very much for your valuable time. Thank you.